Hello, this is Joseph Lawson, and I'm here to talk about celebrities that died in terrible car accidents. Harry Besneal. Harry Besneal was the first guy to been killed in an automobile accident. During his life, he worked as a gentleman's club owner, and he was a frequent hunter of the hunt. F. Murray Wilson. You probably don't know his face, but you probably know of his most famous films, Nosferatu, or as it's commonly known, the first vampire movie. Doris Dell was an American actress whose career was cut tragically short at age 19. T. T.S. T.S. Lewis was an American diplomat who was the first writer in the First World War. George Patton. You magnificent bastard, I read your book! He was a badass general in World War II, and if you ever make fun of him, he would slap you in the face. He's Even though he finished the war, he was accidentally killed in a parade. He died like a legend. Piz the Vasquez. He was a French sports race driver who not only did he sadly die in a crash, but he took lots of spectators. He killed lots of spectators and injured more spectators. James Dean, the first actor to be, after his death of being killed in a car accident, he would be nominated for his Oscar for Rebel Without a Cause and Giant. His most famous three movies are East of Eden, Rebel Without a Cause, and Giant. Jackson Pollock was a famous painter. Even though his paintings were amazing and sold, he had trouble in his personal life with alcoholism, which led to his car crash death. Eddie Cochran. His most during the early 50s and during the late 50s and early 60s, his most famous songs were Summertime Blues and Come On Everybody. After the death of Buddy Holly, he felt like he was up next, and he was certainly right. He died in a terrible car accident in London. Albert Crimean was a French author who won a Nobel Peace Prize in 1956, but sadly his work was cut short at age 44 when he died in a terrible car accident. Jane Mansfield was, even though she was a copy of Marilyn Monroe, she did her own thing. She even did a nude film back in the 60s, but sadly she died in a terrible automobile accident with her husband. But three of her kids in the back seat survived. Tins Horty was a hockey player in northern Canada for the Toronto Maple Leafs. He died in an automobile accident, and that's enough. Mark Borshen was was a famous guitar player for the band T Rex. Get it on, get it on, get it on. Yeah. Harry Kaplan. He was a popular folk singer of the late 60s, and his most popular songs are Taxi and The Cat in the Grail and The Silver Spoon, Lady in the Moon, The Man in the Moon, When You Coming Home, Daddy Don't Know When, but we'll get together. Grace Kelly was a famous actress, most famous for starring in Rear Window. She later became a queen, but she died when she had a stroke in the car. Jessie Lafana was a news reporter for NBC Nightly News. Her news career was cut short when she died in a terrible car accident. Cliff Burton was a badass motherfucking guitar player for the band Metallica. During their bus train in Sweden, their, most of the band members survived the crash, but Cliff Burton wasn't so lucky. But Metallica never gave up, and they honored him in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Billy Martin was a popular baseball player, and he later became a baseball coach. If you ever messed with him, he would scream at you. He suffered a heart attack. Donna West was a popular country singer and even did collaborations with good old Kenny Rogers. She died in a, yeah. Sam Kimmerson. Sam Kinison was a popular guy. He would scream at audience members and tell them to shut the fuck up and tell them it was his show. And he was great and back to school. But sadly, he died in a terrible car accident where two drunk guys killed the legendary comedian. Anton Savanta was a popular Brazilian race car driver. He died during the crash that he loved. Sean Robertson was a Canadian actor. You probably don't know him, but he will always be remembered for the best show ever, TNT and Tarzan. He should be remembered, just saying. Princess Diana. Princess Diana was from the royal palace. There are some conspiracies to her car crash, but it's not true. Dale Earnhardt was a great race car driver. His final lap was in the Daily 200 in 2001. He died a legend. You will be missed. Lisa Left Eye Lopez was with the popular band TLC, and her most famous songs were Waterfall. But before her dead crash, she accidentally killed a kid. She felt like it was her instead, and it's terrible. Jessie Lafana was a Canadian actress, most famous for animated works and 15 in Love, but she died in a terrible car accident with a second passenger. Macho Man Randy Savage. He suffered a heart attack while driving, but he will be remembered. Snap into a Slim Jim. Oh yeah. Ryan Dunn was a popular stunt coordinator for Jackass. He was a total badass in the show and he will be missed. And finally, Paul Walker. He was great in Fast and Furious movies and he was great in other things, but the Fast and Furious franchise honored his legacy. You will be missed, Paul. You will be missed.